What's going on, world? It's your man Jay Dunham, also known as JFK, here presenting to you guys. Well, actually, I'm not presenting to you any sneakers this time. If you follow us or you don't follow us, you get the format of what we usually do. We usually do an unboxing of sneakers. Sneakers is not out yet. Sneakers is on the way. Sneakers you probably haven't seen. It's not released to the public as of yet. But today, I'm gonna talk about something a little more particular, something also that I love aside from the sneaker thing. My first love, if you will, which is actually music. I want to get on the basis of this whole BET thing that just took place within the last week with this whole Eminem BET Cypher thing and my personal thoughts on it. And before I even get all into it, I don't want to hear. I mean, I do want to hear it, but because I know it's coming. Like, oh man, you're a hater. You're still man. First of all, learn what a hater is, man. When you hating on something, you can just naturally tell somebody's hating on something. Because I don't like it and I'm being vocal about it doesn't make me a hater, man. You know what I mean? If 80 billion people are, oh yeah, we're doing this and we're doing this, be yourself, man. Stand out. Do what you like to do. You know what I mean? So me particularly, I'm gonna get straight to it. I felt like that Eminem cipher was that shit really wasn't as potent as I was expecting it to be. You know what I mean? So and again, that's just my personal opinion. Some people are sitting there like, oh yeah, that shit was hard. He killed that. I don't feel like I don't
It,
feel that way.
it was more about the time, more so than anything. I'll say that if you remember YG, he put up a fuck Trump last year.
Right?
But the thing I'm saying is that the current events.
That's the homie. Shout out to YG too.
But I'm not saying was it more about the current events and what he was applying to.
Again, let me say that too first and foremost. I'm not taking away from the message. Like I understand what he's getting at. You know what I mean? Like I understand that. My biggest problem isn't that it's just the delivery. It's the way that it was presented. It was the flow. And even with that, when you look at the guys that was around him, everybody that was looking at Eminem, everybody that was there, that was present in that parking lot or that lot, wherever they was at when they shot the video, they would just look like nobody was like, you can kind of tell and kind of get that. You know what I mean? Usually from the guys generally around you, especially when you got a visual level. When you hear something, it's one thing. But when you got a visual, what was going on too was another thing. I didn't feel like nobody was looking at that like, oh shit, this is Eminem. You know what I mean? Like I feel like nobody was worried about that at all. Nobody, they were just looking like,
Do you think
really?
that they was trying to get a serious look at?
I mean, even when sometimes you could kind of again, you could kind of tell sometimes when dudes is feeling and when dudes is in the mix, you like, yeah, nobody had that. Everybody was just like,
In context of what you're saying, I think that they were soldiers looking serious for that reason.
I get that. You could say that, but again, I feel like even when you watch any battle, when you watch any cipher, niggas is, you know what I'm saying? Like I just you go with the flow, and when you feel something, you kind of even with that when you serious as far as the music, you know what I mean? Like this is when you express yourself. That's the thing. That's when the most expressions come out. It's times like that, and when you feel like my man was sitting right here, my man was in front of the camera, we all here, and he doing this thing. Even if I'm in like go mode, I'm like. You know what I mean? Like I understand and I'm with it. It's just again, maybe that's just me. You know what I mean? But I feel like as Jay Z put it at one time, because you don't understand him, it don't mean that he's nice. And I think that's what a lot of this was about. And again, we know Eminem. Anybody that knows Eminem knows his success per se. I'm not gonna say directly was from it, but one of his biggest keys to his success was what? It was controversy. You know what I mean? We got this white boy, blonde. He had so much shit going around. Fuck his mom, this, that. Controversy was his thing. So right now, what bigger thing to factor into what's going on right now, not even just in rap, just in America, is Donald Trump. So let me do this and let me make this whole shit about him because the controversy because he knows, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna talk about it. And that's just kind of what I'm getting at. Like I feel like you could have said 80 million things. Where the fuck you been in the last however many years? I know you got a life, man. You got things going on. He got kids now, more than just Haley. He has like another kid. So again, shout out to Eminem, and I'm not discrediting him. It's just I felt like the same thing with Kendrick Lamar. Like a lot of these dudes you listen to, and I'm not saying that he's trash, he's not nice. It's just that shit wasn't that heat to me. I heard my songs, his freestyle thing, and I was like, and shout out to Mice, man. That shit was, and it was way shorter. I swear, I think that shit was like a minute and a half long, and I was just like,
But I mean, and if you think about Eminem, when Britney Spears was hot, went after Britney Spears. Whenever NSYNC was hot, went after
Right.
Insane Clown Posse. I'm just saying, like, it just seemed like he always goes against the white popular person. He don't really go against the
Yeah.
black, other than Benzino. But I mean, this is Eminem and how he is. You know what I mean? Like,
Even with that, let's get on that. Let's
but,
get on that.
but the thing I'm saying is, you can't say he didn't have punchlines in this. Like, I mean,
Like I
he
said,
still had lines to this.
He had a few. But again, I just expected more. So to me, as a person, when I hear this, I was let down. When I think of Eminem and when I think of a cipher of some or a freestyle, I'm just like, this shit's gonna be crazy. You're right. He did have moments here and there, but the pauses, the brief, and even with that, let's get on the whole black and white thing. I'm not gonna pull the race card all the way, but we talking about Eminem, so naturally you kind of got to. When he started doing the black power thing, I'm thinking this is also coming from a man who didn't exactly acknowledge it, but then later down the road apologized for using the word nigga. Whether y'all, I don't know if anybody knows that or y'all don't know that, but swear to God, it was on Infinite, the very first tape he ever put out. You know what I'm saying? So on everything, he ends up, like I said, he never directly was like, yeah, I said the nigga word, or yeah, I said nigga before. He never like directly came out and said that, but then later down the road, around that whole shit with Benzino and him like that, he ended up apologizing for saying it. You know what I mean? And it's attracted a lot of people. Again, I don't know if you guys are real hardcore Eminem fans. If you're not, go to YouTube, go to Google, whatever, pull it up. Eminem using the N word or Eminem saying nigga, whatever you want to pull up. But he used it. So again, you doing the whole Black Power thing, you factoring that also into where the whole thing gravitated towards controversy. None of this shit was about hip hop. None of this shit was about. It was all about Donald Trump to me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like to some extent, like you just should have done a lot more. And again, as a veteran artist, that's something that, and it's the same thing with Jay-Z and the whole 444 thing. I just think music is really really desolate right now, and 80 million people, it goes to show because y'all all bought that shit. That 444, like, oh man, this album is crazy. This shit is, in my personal opinion, I'm a huge Jay-Z fan. Me and you both, you know what I mean, was brought up listening to Jay. So I feel like that album was just a big disappointment to me. That album was one of the worst albums he ever put out.
He grew up. And it seemed like you didn't want him to grow up. Like, I mean, he can't talk about the same things. That's the thing that is bothering me about how he feels like he has a mind state of a 40, 50-year-old, whatever he is. I mean, honestly, I don't know his age, but
I think he's 47 now.
He's damn near 50. You think he's going to be still talking about, imaginary player?
Nah, I get what you mean. And even in the sense to that, but none of that shit, even when he made Rock Boys, like when he made American Gangster, that was a grown up kind of album, and you could listen to it. You could tell Magna Carta the same sense. He's talking about, I'm going to use this because this is the biggest thing that people noticed that he said was the shit when he was bringing to the public eye and to the view of niggas that don't know shit about Basquiat, shit like that. Like when he's describing these things, and he's like, damn, what is that? And then, he's in the paintings and he's in the other shit now. He's not, like you said, he's not imaginary player. He's not, you know what I'm saying? He's not crack cocaine this. He's not hard knock like, you know what I'm saying? He's not that type, but still nonetheless, that shit had battle music. That shit had tracks you could put in your car and be like, yeah, this is that Jay, this shit is hard. 444 didn't have a single song like that to me. And again, that's just my personal opinion. When I hear certain shit like, I'm not black, nigga, I'm OJ. Okay. I'm not feeling that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not turning this up, driving in my car like this is my joint right. There's not a single all that shit. It was so bland. It was just like 50 Cent kind of pulled it. He was like, that shit sound like golf course music. I was like, 50, shout out to Fifth. I thought that shit was humorous, but I don't even feel like it was golf course music. I feel like it just doesn't sound like music from a veteran MC. And even with that, to have the whole entire album produced by No ID. I don't know if you guys don't know who No ID is, check him out. Shout out to him too, man. He's a legend. He kind of helped a lot with getting Kanye West into the game. But Jay never usually does a project solely with one producer, making every single beat. No ID was the only person to make any beats in an entire album. Like no Swiss Beats, no Just Blaze, no Rick Rubin, no like. Now I understand the situation with him and Kanye. I know they kind of had a riff or whatever, but just going towards where music was at again, it's constant letdowns from a lot of the guys that you look at as huge heavy hitters and big punches in the game. And then, like I said over the last week, that shit being probably the biggest thing that really, really stunned me. And I was just like, wow. Again, I hear my song shit. His shit was 80 billion times harder than that. It was way shorter than that, but he's not getting the notoriety of it because it wasn't as controversial and it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't fuck Trump this, fuck. And again, for you to make the whole basis of your shit that's kind of where I'm like, that's why I have an issue. Then you know what I'm gonna say that some people are probably gonna be like, this nigga's tripping, and this nigga's. I feel like if you set these two niggas in a room right now, it's gonna be a back and forth thing. But I think overall, Mice is gonna take it. At this point in time. This is what I'm saying. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, nah, he and Mice will tell you that shit. He wasn't ready back then, but right now, where he's at, like you're crazy. If you again, even if you just sit down and give him the time of day, when he went over that Future shit, that Molly Percocet shit, that shit was crazy hard. You know what I'm saying? That shit got some numbers, but it ain't do nowhere near what an Eminem view would do with some shit like that. You know what I mean? And I feel like Jadakiss had a line in that song. Why he's like, why we say the hottest shit, but we selling the least? Why? I'll think of that and I pertain it to him. Even with him, Kiss, I hear a lot of shit from Kiss right now, and I'm just like, and even with that music, you got these guys and people are complaining about the shit these young jocks is doing. And we got young thugs and we got these little Uzis and rap. It's y'all's fault. You guys are the pioneers of music and y'all letting these niggas get away with this shit and y'all not saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like people was with Pac so much because he was the biggest hater, if the hater's the phrase you're gonna use. He was letting y'all know he didn't like niggas. He letting you know. Like nigga, I don't fuck with you. I don't like these niggas. Get the fuck. You know, he was letting niggas know like Pac didn't fuck with niggas. And he would say your name and let you know. These niggas is saying certain shit about him and oh, auto tunes this, auto tunes that, but yet now you're on records with niggas is doing auto tunes. Jay-Z is who I'm speaking about when I say that. It's just so much shit that you look at and it's just like, man, it get real personal because again, I grew up, you know what I mean, in music, and music is so influential to people, and you can see it now every day in kids. You know what I mean? From the shit that they wearing to the shit that they doing to the shit that now shit's lit. It's litty. Like that's a corny ass term. I don't even speak like that. But that's the phrase now. That's the lingo. You know what I'm saying? Niggas ain't from Chicago, but they talking about ops this and ops that, and like that's not your lingo. Like you got the 40, you got the glizzy now, and it's music is very influential. The first place a lot of these kids heard that shit was from music. You know what I'm saying? Bad bitches and this that. But the first place they heard that was from music. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like the head honchos and the pioneers of music, they got a heavy voice, and I just feel like Eminem didn't use that to the best form of his ability to me, or maybe he did, and he's just worse than I thought he would be. You know what I'm saying? So I just expected more. That's all I can say. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure people gonna look and they got their own opinion about it. That's your opinion, my nigga. I'm saying me personally, I expected more from Eminem. Straight up.